bummy today. You was bony and looking too funny today. I don't care, niggas still make change. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Chatting with Cheeze podcast. I'm your host, Fat Cheeze, and y'all already know the motto: no gimmicks, only the real. This is episode 43. Y'all know what I need from y'all. Continue smashing that subscribe button. We are on our way to 300 subscribers. Also, do not forget to like and share the content when it drops. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. And if y'all want to know why I got my friend here with me today, you know, we had a very eventful weekend for the wrestling community this past weekend. So I said, you know what, let me go ahead and bring out the other side of me. Some of y'all may don't know. Some of y'all probably do know. But I'm a big wrestling fan. You know what I'm saying? Ever since I was a kid, leading up until now, I'm very locked in. Every Monday and Friday, I'm in front of the TV paying attention to that wrestling. So, you know what I'm saying? I went ahead and, you know, got me a little gift right here. Believe it or not, this joint is heavy as a mug, so I ain't gonna be holding it the whole episode. I'm gonna try to, you know what I'm saying, hold it for as long as I can. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, being as though I got this, why not the first topic be about this past weekend for all my wrestling fans? You know, this past weekend was legendary, Wrestlemania 41. So for the first topic, I said, you know what, I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna do something that I never did before, and I'm gonna start my show off. I'm gonna start my show off with wrestling. You know what I'm saying? So this past weekend, Saturday and Sunday was Wrestlemania 41. You know, for all my wrestling people, we all know that WrestleMania for us wrestling fans is like the Super Bowl. So it was a big weekend for us. So it's been a lot of controversy these past couple of days about the main event of WrestleMania with John Cena and Cody Rhodes. And I wanted to give my take on it and give my reaction and give my thoughts on it. And also I wanted to grade it. So John Cena defeated Cody Rhodes on Sunday night in the main event of WrestleMania 41. WrestleMania 41 Night 2 concluded Sunday in a somewhat uneven showing, including a polarizing main event that saw John Cena defeat Cody Rhodes to win the undisputed WWE Championship and become an unprecedented 17-time world champion. A year after Rhodes helped author one of the greatest main events in WrestleMania history, the contest against Cena will likely be remembered more for the questionable involvement of Travis Scott than either it being Cena's final WrestleMania match or a record-setting performance. It was a stark contrast from the night one main event between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk that was widely regarded as one of the best in recent memory, if not ever. So my thoughts on the main event for WrestleMania. First of all, let me start out by saying this. I liked everything leading up to the match. I like the fact that John Cena went heel. I like the promos that was cut. I like the fact, you know, all the rants he went on leading up to the main event, saying how, you know, the fans have mistreated him the past 25 years and, you know, the fans didn't deserve nothing. I like that. I like the idea of not switching up anything, coming out to the ring, basically black and white, nothing flashy. I loved it all. I loved the, you know, him and Cody going back and forth up until that point. But I'm going to be honest, me personally, and this is not me just, hey, this thing's starting to get heavy, so I'm going to put it down. Hold on. This is not me hating on the event or nothing like that. I love WrestleMania. I love the one. I definitely love the one last year. I love wrestling in general. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't a big fan of the event leading up to the main event. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I wasn't really feeling it too much. It didn't really give me, you know, WrestleMania. It really didn't give me WrestleMania vibes. It felt like a bunch of those matches that had been put together. Those were some matches that could have been put on a regular Monday night or Sunday or Friday night Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown card. So I wasn't really feeling it too much. But not just the hone in on the event. I didn't really give the event a good grade in total. If I had to give the event as a whole a grade, I would say maybe a C minus. maybe a C. It was kind of average to me. It wasn't nothing that kept me glued to my TV like last year's one did. So it really wasn't, the event as a whole to me wasn't all that. But if I'm grading the main event, I would have to give it a D. And the reason why I gave it a D was because I know everybody's going to harp on the fact of the Travis Scott thing. I believe the Travis Scott thing happened because they couldn't get, The Rock didn't show up to WrestleMania. I believe that's why that event in particular happened. But I really didn't like the pace of the match. I know John Cena is up there in age. I didn't really like the pace of it. I felt as though I didn't like the fact, me personally, I'm not a fan of the multiple finishers. Like, multiple finishers keep getting done over and over. I'm not a big fan of that. And it just didn't give me excitement on that night 2 main event. And honestly, they're kind of to blame because I believe the main event from night 1 with Seth, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns, I believe that main event was so good that night 2 had to match that energy. And I felt like the night 2 main event just didn't match up to, the standard that night 1 had already set. And that's just what I felt about it. I don't think, some people may put too much into it. I'm not really going to put too much into it because, like I said, I didn't feel like it was a good event in total. But the main event, honestly, I just feel like if I'm a first time person because let's be honest, wrestling's kind of been like turned up for this past maybe like year and a half. Like, it's really like at a height it's probably never been. And if I'm a first time person that's saying, okay, you know what, let me go ahead and tune in and check out what's going on, I'm kind of upset about the Travis Scott thing, about Travis Scott walking out there and intervening in the match. Because, I mean, it's just like, I feel like the match was already kind of boring before that point. But then when you add Travis Scott into it, it just gives like, man, it's just like it didn't even correlate with what was going on. Now I think if you add if The Rock was there, I don't know what happened. I don't know why The Rock wasn't there, but I think if you add The Rock comes out, or suspenseful like that. Like last year, you had The Rock come out, you had Cena come out, you had The Undertaker make an appearance. I think if something like that would have happened, where even if you would have just had The Rock show up, I think that the match would have been, way better than it ended up being. And I like the fact that, they ended up basically making Cody choose about and it ultimately cost them the match. But I wasn't a fan. I wanted John Cena to win, of course, to break the 17 record, to win his 17th championship. That was something awesome. But other than that, just the match as a whole, I really wasn't a fan of. If I'm being completely honest, I think the Monday night after Mania last night, the matches that they had for them, I think that was better than WrestleMania. Honestly, that's just my opinion, though. I don't know. Maybe some people may feel different, but I just felt as a whole, not just including with the main event, I believe, me personally, I just believe the event as a whole just wasn't that good. And maybe some people were just adding on their expectations from last year, thinking that they would get the same. But I mean, things happen. That's how it goes. Things are nip and tuck when it comes to stuff like that. And I know Triple H, his hands are tied. And he's since Triple H has taken over, he's been doing an awesome job. But I just wasn't a huge fan of the event this year. That's me in particular. Now somebody else may say that they enjoyed it. But to me, as a fan, I give the event as a total, I'll give it like a C minus. I'm not gonna give that one a D, but the main event for night 2, I definitely 100% will give that a D, especially after what we witnessed on night 1. That main event, I mean, that had to match up to that, and it was nowhere near close. But that's just my opinion on that. So moving on from that, I'm gonna rank my top 3 matches from WrestleMania 41. This is my opinion. If you have another opinion, comment below and let me know how you feel. These are my top. I watched the whole night 1 and I watched the whole night 2. So this is my opinion and how I feel about, the matches and where I rank them at. So number 3, I went the fatal 4-way match for the Intercontinental Champion. Dominic Mysterio ended up winning the Intercontinental Champion. It was Dominic Mysterio, Braun Breaker, Penta, and Finn Balor. I went number 3. I like that match. That was a very exciting match. The person won who I wanted to win. I was actually rooting for Dominic Mysterio to win. He ended up coming out victorious. That match was exciting. From Jump Street, Braun Breaker came in there. You know, he's excitement with the way he can move and those spears. I think Penta put on a pretty good performance, and I like the performance from Finn Balor, and I also like the storyline that it creates moving forward, because you know Finn Balor and Dominic been kind of having issues for a while now, and for Dominic to actually win the match by pinning Finn Balor, you know, doing the frog splash and pinning Finn Balor, I think that could lead to a storyline where finally, because a lot of people been asking for a while for Finn Balor to get out of that Judgment Day role and, you know, go back solo. Remember, Finn Balor was a WWE champion before I believe he suffered an injury and had to give up the belt. So a lot of people been asking for Finn Balor to go on his own solo run. I believe that this will break him away from that Judgment Day run and him be able to go back to creating his own lane, and also something, a rivalry between him and Dominic Mysterio. So I like that. I like that they gave Dominic Mysterio a championship, you know, just with his dad and everything like that. And I think he worked his way to that point. You got to think, a couple of months ago, Dominic was getting booed so bad that nobody you couldn't even hear what he was saying on the microphone. So I like the fact I was rooting for him to win the championship. Also, if you watch Monday Night After Mania, you see that, if you haven't, this is a spoiler, that Braun Breaker is going along with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman as one of Paul Heyman's guys. So I like that for Braun Breaker too. What Braun Breaker is able to do in the ring, I think, is bigger than, and this is no disrespect to the Intercontinental Championship, but I think people want to see Braun Breaker break his way through into that into those big titles, like, you know, the WWE Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship. People want to see Braun Breaker break into that. So I think it was good for him also to lose that belt, and, you know, now can start focusing on, you know, trying to get those bigger matches and things like that. So that's what I got at number 3. At number 2, and honestly, this right here for me battled as number 1. This how good of a match I felt that this was. At number 2, I went to triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship. Io Sky ended up retaining her WWE Women's Championship against Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. That match right there, I'm not gonna lie, for them to kick off day 2 with that matchup right there, I think that completely set the tone. To me, that was the best match of day 2, period. And I'm just so happy for women, for the women in WWE who have took it up to another notch. Some people may tell you, and I may be one of them, the women are just exciting, or might be even more exciting than the guys are. All those women, they brought their A games. Io, Bianca, and Rhea, they all brought their A games, and that was a hell of a match. Excitement from beginning to the end had me, you know, on the edge of my seat the whole time. I actually thought Bianca was going to win the match, but I'm glad that Io ended up there winning the match. The reason why, because I felt as though, you know, that Io was kind of the afterthought throughout this whole promo leading up to the match. I mean, the main thing was we knew she was the champion, but the main thing everybody was mostly focused on was, you know what I'm saying, Rhea and Bianca's, them going back and forth with each other. I'm glad that they allowed Io to keep her championship, and now she can go ahead and keep moving forward and create her own thing, which I think she deserves. I think Io was fantastic in the ring. She's very athletic, you know, jumping, things like that, the way she move in the ring. So I like Io. And I think this also gives Bianca and them a chance to create a budding rivalry with Bianca and Rhea. And then we don't know what's going to happen with Jade Cargill and Bianca. So I think they can create their own storyline off of that and allow Io to, you know what I'm saying, keep moving forward with the championship and creating her own thing. So I like that matchup a lot. That matchup for me battled for number 1, but I went ahead and put it as number 2. At my number one ranking for the matches, for my top 3 matches ever for WrestleMania 41, I went with the triple threat match between Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns night one main event. And that match was fantastic. I really like that match a lot. I think with that match right there, beginning to the end, it was fireworks. Those guys brought their A game, but for me, the cherry on top was Paul Heyman turning on Roman and CM Punk. Because I ain't gonna lie, when he first went and grabbed the chair, I was assuming, okay, he gonna get a chair. Once he low blows CM Punk, I thought he was gonna let Roman Reigns do his thing right there. I can't speak for everybody. Maybe some people more intel than me, but I had no idea. I did not see it coming for him to low blow Roman and team up with Seth. That completely blindsided me, and that was exciting for me. And that's why I said I felt as though this match had to be number one. Just because I think a lot of people didn't expect that to happen. And for that to happen in that manner, where both of the guys that were basically going back and forth throughout the whole time about Paul's loyalty, he ended up double-crossing both of them and teaming up with Seth. And now he about to have something going on with Seth. Then you throw Braun Breaker into the mix now that we know as a Monday. So I like that whole thing. And it's just so many. It's crazy how so many storylines have been created from that Shield saga all the way up until this point and beyond. I just think that right there was very cool. Like that they finding a way to keep that going and just keep adding little pieces to it. And I'm excited for what they got going, for what they got heading forward now, because now I'm assuming that CM Punk and Roman gonna have to put some of their issues to the side to come together and figure that out. So I put that as my number one. I really enjoyed that match a whole bunch. So those are my top three. The triple threat, number one, triple threat, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. At my number two, I went triple threat for the WWE Women's Championship, Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. And at my number three, I went to Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship, Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. So to all my wrestling fans out there, don't be ashamed of it, because guess what? I'm with y'all. I'm one of y'all too. You feel what I'm saying? So I said, you know what? Let me bring out my man for this episode to show him, man, I'm with y'all too. But all in all, WrestleMania is concluded, so now we move forward and see what's gonna happen. Moving on to my next subject, we gonna switch over to the NBA. We got the playoffs going on. So last night, if you didn't watch, Kawhi Leonard went off on the Denver Nuggets in Game 2. The Clippers ended up winning 105-102. Vintage Kawhi Leonard is back, and he led the Los Angeles Clippers to a 105-102 Game 2 victory over the Nuggets on Monday to tie the first round playoff series at 1 apiece. The Clippers surged into the number 5 seed thanks to an 18-3 finish in the regular season, sparked by a resurgent Leonard, whose Clippers tenure is so far known more for his injury than any winning of significance. Leonard turned it up another notch Monday night in a performance reminiscent of his 2019 playoff run with the Toronto Raptors that ended with the NBA championship and his second finals MVP trophy. In a game featuring 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic, Leonard was the best player on the floor. Leonard shot 9 of 10 from the field in a scorching first half that netted 21 points, including a 3-pointer to beat the second quarter buzzer. He continued to give the Nuggets fits and finished the game with 39 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. He shot 15 of 19 from the field and 4 of 7 from 3. He hit a jumper that extended the Clippers' lead to the final margin in the final minute, then came up with a steal on Denver's next possession. The Nuggets threw multiple defenders at Leonard, including Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, and Michael Porter Jr. None was able to slow the 6-time All-Star, who repeatedly scored at will from 3 and from mid-range over helpless defenders. This is what Kawhi lives for, head coach Tyronn Lue said after the game. He's gonna try to get to the point where he's healthy for the playoffs. We know if we've got healthy Kawhi, we can win the series, and it just shows you what he's capable of doing. Kawhi Leonard has averaged 21.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 2.9 assists in 141 games in in the playoffs in his career. Leonard's career has been intertwined with significant injuries since his exit from the San Antonio Spurs, and fail not, he and his injuries have been blamed for the Clippers' playoff failures since his arrival in Los Angeles. Lou painted a different picture Monday night, creating Leonard's dedication to his health and his recovery and leading to his performance against the Nuggets. He's a hard worker, Lou said. He's dedicated, like I said, to keeping his body right. Sometimes a bunch of things happen. You can't control that. It's not from a lack of work. It's not from a lack of wants to be here. Sometimes some bad luck hits, but he's going to keep coming back. He's going to get to this point. He's going to get to this point like he is right now, and that's why I'm just so happy for him. Every single day, and this is what James Harden said, who's been playing with Kawhi Leonard. Every single day, Harden said of Leonard's work. It's like the preparation. It's like the preparation. It's the treatment. It's the strengthening of his body. It's the correctives. It's the correctives, and then it's going on the court and putting it all together. It's constantly every single day. Luck hasn't been on his side. He loves to hoop, as you see when he's on the court. He's a killer. Those are words from James Harden. I just gave you the whole breakdown of everything Tyronn Lue said after Kawhi's performance last night. And all in all, what I gotta say about his performance, I'm just happy for Kawhi Leonard, man, to be playing at this level that everybody know you could play at. Like I said before this series begun, I picked the Clippers to win the series. If the Clippers have a healthy Kawhi Leonard, just like I said on my last episode, if the Clippers have a healthy Kawhi Leonard, they can beat anybody in the Western Conference. That's how good of a player Kawhi Leonard is when he's healthy. And the reason why I'm so happy for him is because coming into this year, after what happened, after trying to play last year in the playoffs, played a little bit and then had to end up going back out, then trying to come back and play for Team USA in the summer. That didn't work out, had to end up leaving before it even kicked off. Then, not being able to start the season, people questioning your health as they always been. Some people throwing out retirement, saying you should retire, and for him to get everything together and be playing the way that he's playing now, I'm super happy for Kawhi, and I know he has to be happy to go out there on the Nuggets. You know what I'm saying? And the Clippers could have won game one. The Clippers could have absolutely won game one. The game ended up going into overtime. Russell Westbrook ended up having a vintage game and they ended up losing. But to come back in game two, and I always say for the road team, game two is the most important. If you could steal game one, that's awesome. But game two is the most important because right after game two, you'll be headed. You could flip home court in one game, which could be that game two. So for you to come out in an important game two and go for 39 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists with 2 steals, 15 and 19 from the field, and 4-7 from 3, that's amazing. That's huge. That's big time. You know what I'm saying? I'm just happy for him. And, this right here just goes to show you when he's healthy. And I know I'm going to have some people. Commenting, talking trash, saying, no, I know y'all going to say, it's LeBron and all this and all that. That's cool. I love LeBron too. But in my opinion, in the playoffs, a healthy Kawhi Leonard is the most scary player in a playoff setting. No team should want to have to, because he can do it both ways. He can lock up your best. Now he can't probably lock up your best offensive player like he used to, but he still can give him some trouble, and also what he can give you on the offensive end. He's the scariest. We've seen a healthy Kawhi Leonard, despite. Do I feel like they would have won that championship if Golden State would have been healthy? No, but that's neither here nor there. We've seen a healthy Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs carry a Toronto Raptors team to a championship. So that right there goes to show you when he's healthy, what he's capable of when he's out there on the floor. I'm just so happy for Kawhi. They flip home court advantage. Denver is in trouble because now you got to go to LA, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a possibility Denver could lose both of those games, or we can come back to Denver tied. I picked the Clippers to win this series. I don't know if I picked them in 6 or 7, but I'm going with, I say Clippers in 7 games. But I'm so happy for Kawhi, man. I know that it has to be stressful, you know, working your hardest, trying to get back, trying to stay in shape, trying to do everything that you need to do to be healthy and be able to do something that you love. You hearing all the noise, people saying you should retire, you shouldn't get paid, and all these things that you're hearing, but deep down, you know, I'm still that guy. And for him to battle back and look the way he's looked since he's been back, not just in the playoffs. Kawhi's been playing fantastic ball since he's been back from injury, period. And now to come in and have a game like this in the playoffs, I'm super happy for Kawhi. I know he's happy for himself, but Kawhi know he a silent killer. He know the job ain't finished. They got to go home and handle business in LA. But I got the Clippers winning this series, man. And I said it before and I'll say it again. No team should want to see this Clippers team. No team in the Western Conference. With what they can do on the defensive end, shout out to Van Gundy, who got them boys playing great on the defensive end. What they can do on the defensive end and also what they can do on the offensive end with Kawhi, James Harden is the best version of himself that he's been in a long time. Zubac has been looking very good. Norman Powell, Dunn has been giving them great production. No team wants to see this Clipper team, I'm telling you, especially if Kawhi can stay upright. Because it's going to be a lot after this series. I'm going to be honest, I can't really say too many series that the Clippers will go in where Kawhi might not be the best player on the floor, depending on who they playing. I'm just saying, and some of y'all might not agree with me. Comment down below. But I hold Kawhi to that big of a regard in the playoffs because I've seen what Kawhi has done in the playoffs, you know what I'm saying, when he's right. Remember when they played Phoenix in the first round? I think this was about a year or two ago. He was cooking Phoenix, and he ended up getting injured. And I felt as though the Clippers could have won that series if he didn't end up getting injured. So, yeah, Kawhi, 39 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 15 of 19 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3. Denver, y'all better figure something out. Y'all better throw the kitchen sink at everything at him, because if he continue this series like this, I ain't gonna lie. Denver, Clippers might get Denver out of here in 6. I got Clippers in 7, but Clippers might try to get them boys out of there in 6. Moving on. So, kind of piggybacking off my last topic, but not fully. So, my question is, if you didn't watch last night, the Clippers ended up beating Denver, like I said, 105 to 102 yesterday. And also, the Pistons ended up beating the Knicks yesterday, 100 to 94. So the topic in question that I have is, who should be more concerned about their game 2 loss, the Knicks or the Nuggets? Me personally, if I'm the Nuggets, I'm not gonna say I'm not concerned, but I'm not really too concerned because you had 2 close ball games. They won in overtime, game 1, and they ended up losing by 3, game 2, and Kawhi went nuclear. So if I'm the Nuggets, I'm not really too worried. I know I can compete with them. I know, you know what I'm saying, it's tough. The Clippers are a good basketball team, and I feel like the Nuggets are. The Nuggets have never been out of a ball game. You know, both of these games have been extremely close. So if I'm the Nuggets, I feel like, you know, if we handle business, we can go to LA and sneak one. If I had to choose who should be the most concerned after game 2 loss, it's the New York Knicks, without a doubt. The Pistons have confidence. The Pistons should be up 2-0. If we being technically honest, take your bias out of it. The Pistons should be up on the Knicks 2-0. They were up all of game 1, and the Knicks had to go on a 21-0 run to come back and win that game. They were up all majority of the game yesterday, and they tried their hardest to give it away to New York again yesterday. Schroeder ended up hitting a big 3 to basically go ahead and put the nail in it, but they tried to give it away yesterday, and I think that comes from a little bit of inexperience. That's why you needed those vets like Schroeder, like Malik Beasley, those vets to, you know, push you guys through the finish line. But the Knicks should absolutely be worried because the Pistons won the regular season battle versus them. They just snuck game 2, and now they going home to Detroit. If Detroit play the same way that they've been playing and just finish better, and they end up winning game 3 and game 4, I'm gonna be honest with you. I could see Detroit ending this thing in 6. And I said it before the series started. I said this was gonna be a big test for the Knicks because I love Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is a star in this league, but Jalen Brunson, I wouldn't consider him a superstar. So I said you're going to need Jalen Brunson to step up and do what he's been doing. Cat. I said Cat. I put a bullseye on Cat. Cat was decent game 1. Game 2, he had 0 points in the second half. That can't happen. That can't happen. OG Anunoby was solid in the first game. He was a no-show yesterday. Didn't play well. Didn't hear much from Mikal Bridges yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And I said it going into this series, this young, scrappy team, you don't want to give them confidence. Those other guys are going to have to step up for New York. I said that was going to have to happen. McBride and them, they wasn't able to give them that spark yesterday that helped them create. Cameron Payne was huge in game 1. Didn't hit nothing yesterday. So those things that attributed to them making that 21-0 run in game 1, that didn't happen yesterday, and Detroit was able to pull it out. But if I'm the Knicks, I'm absolutely concerned. Coach Thibodeau, you got to figure out something. You already running them boys 40-something minutes a game. You got to figure out something on that offensive end because it ain't working. Jalen Brunson, yeah, we know what he going to do, but you need those other guys to step up to help you beat this young, scrappy team because Cade Cunningham is on another level. Cade Cunningham is a star in this league. And he's showing everybody. And I said it. I said this one was going to be tough. I picked the Knicks in 6. I think I picked the Knicks in 6 games. But I said it would not shock me if this thing went 7. And I'm going to tell you right now, if the Knicks end up losing both of those games in Detroit, that's going to flip the Pistons in 6. I'm not going to lie to you. But let me read some of these quotes and everything after that game. So the Detroit Pistons won their first playoff game in 17 years. Final score 194, snapping their 15-game playoff losing streak, the longest losing streak in a single season in NBA history. The young team won Game 2 over New York, leaving the teams tied 1-1, giving Detroit home court advantage in the playoff series. We did what we were supposed to do, Pistons coach J.B. Bickerstaff said to reporters after the game. To win a game on the road, to get home court is what we came here for. We approached it with a business-like mentality and learned from the fourth quarter the other night. But we just did what we were supposed to do. All-star Cade Cunningham had 33 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. The 23-year-old is the first Piston since Chauncey Billups in 2004 to have 30 points and 10 rebounds in a playoff game, according to the NBA. It's a great feeling, man, Cunningham said. It feels good to represent the city like we did tonight. It's something that the city has been waiting on a long time. So we feel good about it, and we're ready to go back to the crib and perform in front of them. In Game 1 of their first round playoff series, the New York Knicks defeated the Detroit Pistons 123-112. The Knicks were led by Jalen Brunson, who scored 34 points and had 8 assists. The Pistons had built an 8-point lead heading into the fourth quarter, but the Knicks went on a 21-0 run to win the game. So like I said, Knicks, y'all better tighten up. Y'all better tighten up. But I mean, to just sit back and see that what this Detroit team has done after last year being a laughingstock of the league, and to turn around and, you know, sneak and win a playoff game after, you know what I'm saying, a 15-game playoff losing streak. They haven't won since Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Ben Wallace, that mob. They haven't won a playoff game since then. So for this young team to go into Madison Square Garden, which is a hectic environment, win a game and possibly have a chance to go home and win 2 more and possibly win a playoff series, that's huge for the city of Detroit. Shout out to all my Piston fans, and y'all got to star in Cade Cunningham. Y'all got to star. I've been a big fan of Cade Cunningham since his college days. Coming into the NBA, I think injuries kind of played a factor, but now you guys are getting the fruit of your labor with the way he's playing. He's absolutely hooping, and I don't think there's a bunch of point guards in this league right now. I'm taking over Cade Cunningham, so y'all got y'all one. But if I had to pick who should be more concerned after their game 2 loss, I'm definitely going New York Knicks, because if we being completely honest, the Pistons should be up 2-0 on the Knicks. If they didn't fumble game 1, they would be up 2-0, and they should be up 2-0 in my opinion. So I'm going with the New York Knicks. Denver, I think Denver, that's going to be a hell of a series. I think that series might go 7, but it's been close. It ain't really been no blowout in that series. So I'm going with the New York Knicks, who should be most concerned. And I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this episode up, man. Something quick, nothing too much. I'm gonna wrap this thing up because I want to watch the Lakers in Minnesota play. So that's gonna be the end of this episode. This is episode 43. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, locking in with me each and every week. It's a lot going on. You got the draft coming up on Thursday. The playoffs still rocking and rolling. So, you know that the content about to be rolling. So, man, keep locking in with me. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Do not forget to keep smashing that subscribe button. We are on our way to 300 subscribers. Also, do not forget to like and share the content when it is dropped. Also, follow me on all social media platforms. They in the slide at the beginning of the video, so make sure y'all jot them down, do whatever y'all gotta do. Follow me on all social media platforms. I appreciate y'all, and I see y'all next time.